The jobs report came out that was expecting 243,000 jobs. It was way lower than expectation with 175,000. This was one of the big items that the Fed was saying they were going to be watching. Sellers are way more accommodating to trying to attract buyers to their property and find a way to incentivize them. I think a temporary buy down is one of the best ways to do it. In the state of California, in Oregon, in Washington, financing ADUs or accessory dwelling units into the purchase is a really unique option. So in the month of May, the Fed had their the end of their two-day meeting, and they said that the only way that we're going to lower rates is going to be if we see clear indicators that inflation is going down in a meaningful way. All three inflation numbers that came out in the month of April were higher than anticipated. And I don't have to convince any of you who have been out buying anything that the cost of everything is higher, especially in states like California, where I live and where I do a lot of my business. So what happened just a couple days later, Friday of the first week of May, is the jobs report came out that was expecting 243,000 jobs. It was way lower than expectation with 175,000. This was one of the big items that the Fed was saying they were going to be watching. And as a result of that, on that Friday, we saw mortgage rates start going down and the bond market going up. And, we don't want to be premature about what we think is coming, but these are some of the steps that you're going to want to watch to see what happens, because when rates start going down, it's going to be a sign that you're going to see some things shift in the housing market. One of the things we've been telling everyone as a mortgage lender, all the clients I've been meeting with that are buying properties right now, is waiting for interest rates is going to be a losing proposition because of the backlog of how many people want to come into the market and buy properties. They're just waiting for affordability to come back. The problem is when interest rates go down, prices are going to go up very quickly because of that increase in demand. Now, the real problem is I don't think there's a way for us to move forward without lower interest rates. So I am a firm believer that they are coming. The timeline on that, no one really knows. But if we start continuing to see some of these reports, like the jobs report coming in with way lower jobs than expected, we see, credit card delinquencies at all-time highs, and we start seeing indicators that we are in a recession, that people are feeling the pain, spending less money, those things eventually are going to show up in some of these readings. That is going to cause our Fed to step in and start pulling back on the things that they've been doing to try to tame inflation. What we're seeing right now is a lot of people who are trying to buy intelligently. There's a few ways that we can do that right now. Sellers are more willing to cut a deal. We're seeing a lot of sellers nationwide paying for closing costs. The other feature that we've talked about before is a temporary buy down. This is where you can get into a lower rate for the first 3 years on the seller's dime by getting them to pay a large credit towards your purchase. And, this is not something we've seen for almost 10 years, but in the last year, it's been a more common thing. And certainly right now in this, almost the second quarter of the year with the market the way it is, sellers are way more accommodating to trying to attract buyers to their property and find a way to incentivize them to purchase their property. I think a temporary buy down is one of the best ways to do it. In the state of California, in Oregon, in Washington, financing ADUs or accessory dwelling units into the purchase, which can give you additional income and extra value, is a really unique option for two reasons. Number one, the counties in all three of these states have a must allow someone to build an ADU on their property or to finance it into a purchase, streamlining the expensive permits and impact costs. And then there's creative loans available right now where you can still put a minimal down payment and take advantage of an ADU or converting part of the house to an ADU. So anyone that's looking at buying their first home that wants to offset the cost of that mortgage payment with higher rates, this is something you would really want to consider. That's it for this month. If you guys have any questions on anything with creative financing or creating wealth in this environment in 2024, which is like nothing we've ever seen, feel free to reach out to me. I also would ask, if you watch this video, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. That gets us information out there. We're definitely trying to spread real information of what's really happening right now, not just clickbait. And I appreciate your guys' support. Have a great day. We'll see you next month.